Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're taking a tour, an architectural tour, really, of the most complex, most fascinating object in the entire known universe. Yep, we're talking about the human brain. All right, let's just dive right in. What you're seeing here, this is it. This is the network that makes you, you. It's like this incredible, sprawling city powered by electricity and chemicals with billions and billions of citizens. So here's what we're going to do. We'll start with the big picture, kind of like the major districts of this city, and then we're going to zoom all the way down to meet the individual workers and see how they talk to each other. So if you look at it from a high level, your brain is organized into three main parts, and they all work together totally seamlessly to run the whole show. Okay, so you've got the cerebrum, that's the big one, the part you probably picture when you think brain. Then, tucked away at the back, is the cerebellum. And finally, you've got the brainstem, which is this super important stalk connecting the brain to your spinal cord. I love this breakdown because it really shows you the division of labor. Think of it like a company. The cerebrum, that's your C-suite, your CEO. It's handling all the big ideas, thought, memory, personality. Then you have the cerebellum. This is your operations manager, the one making sure everything is coordinated, fine-tuning your movements and balance. And the brainstem, well, that's the power plant. It just keeps running 24/7, taking care of all the stuff you don't even think about, like breathing and your heart rate. Okay, so we've seen the main districts. Now let's zoom way in. Let's meet the actual citizens of this brain city. There are two main types of cells, and they make everything happen. So, for ages, all the attention was on the neurons. They're the rock stars, right? The messengers sending all the signals. But that's only half the story. The other half of the brain's population are these things called glial cells. Now, glia literally means glue, and for the longest time, scientists thought that's all they did, just hold the neurons in place. But we know now, oh man, they are the indispensable road crew, the support team that's absolutely vital for the rock stars to do their thing. Yeah, so it's super important to get this. Glia are not just passive glue. You've got astrocytes, they're like the catering service, feeding the neurons and running security with the blood-brain barrier. Then you've got microglia, which are the cleanup crew and the immune system, getting rid of junk and fighting off invaders. And the oligodendrocytes, they create this fatty insulation that helps signals travel at super high speeds. Bottom line, without this support crew, the neurons couldn't even get on stage. So the big question is, how do these neurons actually talk to each other? How do they send these messages? Well, they do it with this incredibly fast, all-or-nothing electrical pulse that just zips down their length. It's called an action potential. And you've got to understand, this is the fundamental unit of information in your brain. Just think about that for a second. Every single thought you've ever had, every memory, every feeling, it's all just patterns of trillions of these tiny little electrical spikes. And the whole thing happens in 3 phases, and it's lightning fast. Okay, first, depolarization. Bam, these little gates fly open, sodium ions rush in, and the inside of the cell flips from negative to positive. Then, repolarization. The sodium gates slam shut, and different gates open to let potassium ions rush out, which brings the charge back down to negative. The whole thing is over in just a few milliseconds, creating this wave of electricity that just shoots down the neuron. And check this out. This really shows you how dramatic that electrical flip is. A neuron just chilling out is at about negative 70 millivolts. But when it fires an action potential, it spikes all the way up to positive 30 millivolts. That's a 100 millivolt swing in 1,000th of a second. It's insane. And that tiny spark, repeated trillions of times, is the basis of, well, everything you are. Okay, so there's a problem. That electrical pulse is amazing, but it can't jump across the tiny gap, it's called a synapse, between one neuron and the next. It just can't. So to get the message across, the signal has to do something really clever. It has to change from electrical to chemical. And that's where neurotransmitters come into play. These are basically chemical messengers. One neuron releases them, and they float across the gap to activate the next one. There are dozens of different kinds, and they all have specific jobs, like acetylcholine for your muscles or dopamine for feeling rewarded and motivated. Now, what's really, really important to get is that your brain is all about balance, a constant balancing act. Think of it like a car. The main accelerator is a neurotransmitter called glutamate. It's excitatory, meaning it tells neurons, go, 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 fire. It's super important for learning things. And then you have the main brake. That's GABA. It's inhibitory, and its job is to say, whoa, slow down, stop. It's what calms your brain down, helps with anxiety, and lets you fall asleep.
Your entire mental state depends on this delicate dance between the gas and the brake. So, okay, we've got billions of cells firing trillions of signals all day long. That's a ton of activity. It uses a lot of energy, which kind of makes you wonder.
Where does all the waste go? It's a fantastic question, right? Your brain is so active, and just like a busy city, it produces a ton of, well, trash, metabolic waste. And it turns out your brain has its own dedicated sanitation department. And here's the crazy part. It was only discovered recently, and it pretty much only works the night shift. It's called the glymphatic system. The best way to think about it is like a power washer for your brain. It uses the cerebrospinal fluid, that's the clear fluid your brain floats in, to just blast away all the toxic gunk that builds up during the day when you're awake. And it's an incredibly smart system. The fluid flushes deep into your brain tissue, collects all the garbage, and then drains it all away to be disposed of. It's literally a brain wash. But here's the absolute kicker. Get this. This whole cleaning process, it kicks into high gear only when you're in deep sleep. And why is that? Well, because during that deep sleep, your brain cells actually shrink a little bit. That opens up more space between them, allowing that cleaning fluid to flow through way more efficiently and get the job done. How cool is that? So you see, getting a good night's sleep isn't just a luxury. It's not just about feeling rested. It's a non-negotiable maintenance cycle for your brain. It's when you take out the trash, and that's absolutely critical for your long-term brain health. Which leaves us with a pretty simple but really powerful question to chew on, especially tonight as you're getting ready for bed.